FutureDad 55, How to Manage the Thirst. Quote, "The thirst of desire is never filled, nor fully satisfied." Marcus Cicero. I watched the movie Daybreakers recently, about a world where vampirism has taken over and humans become a small, endlessly hunted minority. At first I thought it was an allegory for the Pakistani Muslim rape gang's predation on white British girls, but no. There's an additional important nuance. If a vampire goes a few days without drinking human blood, known as a subsider, subsiders are much more feral and bestial, and act hyper-aggressively towards normal vampires, although it's never fully explained why. It's not a great film, but it's not bad either. The most remarkable aspect of Daybreakers is its preoccupation with this thirst. We repeatedly see examples of how calm and intelligent, seemingly well-behaved vampires transform into slobbering beasts. It's no coincidence that you almost exclusively see male vampires depicted this way. Why is this imagery both striking and easy to understand at face value? Bestial. It is part of the human condition that when a thirst is powerful enough, the afflicted act in bestial ways. This is especially true of men, and especially and obviously when the origin of the thirst is a desire for physical company of a woman. In internet culture, it is a label for attractive women selling a low-quality product, usually herself. A thirst trap. And it's true. Teenage boys and men in their 20s endure a thirst that utterly dominates their thinking. When I was 16, I ran a kilometre out of my way just to see the face of a girl on a bus. I was unable to speak to her or do anything useful about the pursuit, but my hormones compelled me to act. To add another perspective, studies have found that male homosexuals in long-term relationships defined as 10 years plus have frequent sex at approximately 11 times the proportion of female homosexuals. 11. By simple crude extension, it implies that, very roughly, the human male reproductive instinct is 11 times stronger than the female. Most women have absolutely no idea what this persistent urge feels like, nor will they ever. You may as well ask the average man what it's like to be pregnant. Perhaps at this point you're thinking, the world is in the midst of a fertility crash. It's good that men are driven to desperation in pursuit of a woman. I agree with that in a very limited sense, since any natural feeling is your biological call to action. However, the findings of FutureDad 32, the fertility rate crash as one cause, are clear. The root cause of cratering fertility is feminism. Sacrificing more young men at the altar of the Longhouse will not help men or society. It will in fact make things worse. To tackle this productively, the first question is, why is the thirst a significant problem for men? It creates 4 distinct difficulties in men's lives. 1. Poor financial decisions. The thirst motivates excess, emotionally driven spending by young men when they can least afford it. To satisfy the thirst, men prematurely spend a fortune on gifts, rings, flowers, chocolates, weekend breaks and sports cars, and a host of other traps that clever advertisers and marketers have laid for them. 2. Misdirected focus. Particularly time spent scheming and fretting over an innocent glance or an offhand comment from a crush while your grades suffer. This preoccupation does not teach anything useful about tackling the world or being better with women in the first place. The thirst is very deft at occupying you in a state of frustrated inaction. 3. Poor self-control. The thirst is impatient and noisy. It wants the thing now, before anything else that could be more useful. Certainly more so than studying or productive work. It prefers quick wins against your other aspirations because the urge to procreate is second only to your own survival. Life finds a way, or at least it makes you obsess about creating more of it, however fruitless and passive. 4. Inferior partner selection. This thirst consequence is perhaps the most tragic. All that reproductive energy aimed at an inferior outcome. The urgency coerced by the thirst hijacks your limbic system to get immediate satisfaction rather than long-range success. If she is fat with tattoos, blue hair and a nose ring, so be it. It's like spending years training to be a foot surgeon, but dropping out before graduation to create a podcast about bunions. Even after reading about these 4 biohazards, young men will still carry on regardless. But if you are between 15 and 28, not only are you wrong about the world, you are usually unable to fathom why you are wrong. I cannot transform that ignorance into wisdom with mere words because you're not ready for it. Besides, as Sean would say, except there is one word: distraction. The best advice I can give you is to distract yourself. Young men are too much in their own mind about women as it is, so the antidote is to work on fitness and skills. Beyond that, if you're more advanced, your mental state can be tuned to drown it out. Here are the 4 distraction techniques. 1. Physically tire yourself out. 2. Mentally tire yourself out. 3. Go minimalist. 4. Build good habits. 1. Physically tire yourself out. I mentioned this obliquely in FutureDad 3, Workout for Your Mental Health. You are just not going to be so feverishly obsessing over women when you have a long, hard workout. No, not that type of workout. That is only a break glass in case of emergency solution. The feelings won't disappear after exercise, but it has a dampening effect on them. The aim is distraction, not elimination or suppression. And the virtuous side effect is that you are far better placed to find the woman you want with a strong masculine physique. Then, of course, you have to guard against a novice thinking that a good body is all you need to attract and keep the best woman. In a similar way, physical activity stops MGTOW depression. One of the outcomes of going MGTOW is that you have a calmer, peaceful state of mind when it comes to women, but that calm takes time. During that time, depression may take hold while you are purposeless. Exercise is the best vaccine against depression. 2. Mentally tire yourself out. The next solution is to psychologically or intellectually exhaust yourself. Even if you know it's a deliberate effort just to distract yourself, it still works. Get better and better at something intellectually demanding like a foreign language or skill-based like guitar. Get better and better at something intellectually demanding like a foreign language or skill-based like guitar. Not video games. That's a reward, not a skill. Skills and study require consistently pushing past the 6-minute pre-zone to reach the competence zone, whereupon you stop noticing the passage of time. Just remember to remove all distractions out of sight and touch, especially and specifically your phone. Don't worry, the best women will like it that you are unavailable, no matter what they claim. They don't understand themselves yet either. 3. Go minimalist. Read FutureDad 7, Superpowers Part 1, Minimalism. First, to understand what this really is about. Time. Hone your time preference to be lower and more focused on the bigger, delayed gains. Each time you spend effort and treasure pursuing substandard filler women, it decreases the standard of woman you will get when you've actually earned it. That's how it works. Blame nature if that aggravates or upsets you. 4. Build a habit of distraction when your thoughts wander to women. I've talked before about interrupting bad habits with a schedule. You must devise a trigger to automatically kick in when undesired behavior begins. Usually when your thoughts wander to women, it must be consistent. When you do it consistently for 3 weeks, it becomes a habit. I recommend something easy and cost-free like drinking a pint of water or taking a walk outside. Anything which is accessible everywhere and can divert the emotion. If you think you don't have to use these stupid tricks, then you haven't understood why you need to. Take a moment to imagine what your future looks like if you don't do these things. You will hit your 30s, overweight, and with no skills or achievements to do all the romantic heavy lifting for you later, when it is important. So the choice is yours. Choose 15 years of suffering now, or 50 years later. Conclusion. The thirst can be destructive and all-consuming. You can't rationalize your way out of it. Your physical drives are too strong and the instinct is too long in the making for you to just cast it aside. The key is distraction, at least until you're mature enough to handle women properly. It starts with a decision. Are you ready to admit that you're a real-life subsider? Future Dad.